Okay, so this is a response for Warring 25. I've watched a couple of your videos, and I must say, when you rant, you rant. I know that I agree with some of the things you have to say, disagree with some of the things. It's hard for me to tell sometimes what side you're on because you tend to be all over the place. There are certain points you've made or things you've said that I feel the need to respond to. The first one being the feel that I get from the people that support you and the videos that you've made, which is that you're anti-American, and happy about it, which is great, except you don't strike me as anti-American, you strike me as anti-Bush and anti-White House, and I'm getting sick of people from other countries getting his opinions confused with the opinions of the American people. I do not agree with Bush. I am not a Bush supporter, and if you pay attention to the polls taken in the United States, you'll know that most people in my country do not support Bush. Majority of people in my country do not support the war. They do not support torturing people of other countries. And I've seen a lot of comments from people that support you that seem to attack Americans in general, not the White House, not President Bush. Talk about how we have no right to torture people. Let's see if I can find a certain one. Certified 30 says, you motherfuckers killed millions of people in one shot in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which was how many decades ago? You fucking have short memory, and you are still killing thousands of innocents around the world. I want examples if you're going to say something like that. So you are not the most important thing in the world. I've never heard any Americans say anything of that sort. We don't think we are. Yes, we are proud to be Americans. Who isn't proud of their country? Aren't you proud? Of course you are. Everyone is. If you support torture and killing, you have no right to live too. This is a bit hypocritical. But we don't support torture, and we don't support killing. I'll say that much. Things that I do support are wiretapping, spying on people's phones. People are paranoid about it. Yeah, it's not like they're going to listen to you talk to your girlfriend, talk dirty to your boyfriend. You know, people are paranoid. They're embarrassed of what they say or privacy issues. They're not going to tap into everyone's phones unless you're suspicious. You know, they don't have time to listen to petty conversations. As a matter of fact, that's what I believe. If the news reports that I've read are correct, what was able to stop the terrorist attack on those British airlines a little while ago. So I support that. I think it's good. As far as torture and Bush's desire to amend the Geneva Conventions, no, I don't agree on it, but realistically, it's not a big issue for me, and I'll tell you why. Because it's not going to change much. Maybe it'll change a little bit as far as what Americans do, but it's not going to change anything around the world. People are tortured, they were tortured in Vietnam. Americans, and Jews were treated horribly by Hitler and Nazis, and that's not a thing in the past. It's happened in Somalia. It's happening in Iraq on both sides, probably. But it's a war. People that don't know war, people that don't understand war, just talk about human rights. It's ridiculous. It's not going to happen. It's just something to make people feel better and a little less guilty about going to war. It's never been as nice as the Geneva Conventions wanted to be, and it's never going to be. I'm active duty military at the time of this making. I've been in for a little over 4 years, and I'm a medic. U.S. Navy Hospital Corpsman is the official title. According to the Geneva Conventions, when I go out on the battlefield, I'm not supposed to fire the weapon because I'm not a combatant. I'm there to heal people. I'm there to cure, well, not cure, but treat wounded Marines or any other individuals that might be injured. And that includes guys on the other side, Iraqis or Taliban or Al Qaeda or whatever. Also, I'm not supposed to be shot upon by the enemy. But again, the reality is that we learned in Vietnam that that's not going to work, because back then medics used to wear red crosses, which were supposed to keep us safe. They were supposed to see this and say, okay, we're not supposed to fight these guys, they're not combatants, but they do. The first people that were shot at were medics, because if you take a medic out of a fight, there's no one there to heal the soldiers and Marines, and that puts them at risk, and the enemy is able to fire, wound a Marine, and that Marine dies. A Marine that could have, they could have had his bleeding stopped and would eventually come back to the fight. That was a smart thing on their side. It was against the Geneva Conventions, but it helped them win many battles. At the same time, on the other side, medics do carry weapons and do fire weapons, because it's war. If I don't fire a weapon, I'm going to die. It's that easy. So Americans who are medics break the Geneva Conventions by firing weapons and killing enemies. Although we do treat Iraqis or other soldiers of the enemy side when we come across them. This is something that we have the option to get. It's a book for a class that's taught to us, and I'll show you the title again: Captivity, the Extreme Circumstance. Why? Because again, war, reality. We're going to get captured, and we're going to get probably tortured, and that's part of what's talked about in here. This was written after people who wrote this talked to a lot of the prisoners of war of previous wars, and it gives you a lot of advice on what your outlook should be on life when you're captured, to try to assist you in mentally surviving your ordeal, so when you come back, hopefully you're not too fucked up in the head, basically. Moral, ethical implications of surviving captivity, lessons of wartime imprisonment. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here, and we wouldn't need this if war was a pretty thing like it would be if the Geneva Conventions was followed. So realistically, even if it's passed, and I hope it's not, but if the amendment is passed, nothing's going to change. War's going to be the same. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be brutal, and that's it. It's the reality of it. And I'm sorry that you've had to deal with terrorism for a part of your life, and I don't think that any American is trying to tell you how to feel about it. We're all having to deal with it now, and we all feel the same, and we're all angry. And that's all there is to it.